Chapter 861. Gripping the children's shoulders, Orissa scanned her eyes over them to ensure that all of them were there. Then, she uttered gently, "Let's go in. Come on." Upon seeing that Sean had also come over, Benjamin entered the restaurant with his arms still wrapped around her waist. Fortunately, the traffic wasn't that bad. Otherwise, we'd only be arriving a while later, Sean remarked with a smile. Subsequently, he added, "Kingsley called several times to hurry me up." "Did he not phone you?" He glanced at Benjamin. "He phoned me twice," Benjamin replied placidly, his thin lips parting a smidge. Orissa chortled. "Mr. Watts phoned twice, but he declined the first call. The second call came right on the heels of that." Hearing that, Sean guffawed before grumbling about Kingsley. He must have had nothing better to do to keep calling this person and that. Suddenly, Benjamin halted in his tracks. He turned to the man. "Who else did he invite?" "Just the few of us. Jonathan will be coming over in a bit." Sean eyed him dubiously. Nodding, Benjamin led Orissa and the children in. The 6 children held hands. As they walked, Gavin explained the layout of the restaurant to Tim. "The public restroom is over there, Tim. But we probably won't have any use for it. We'll be eating in a private room, and it comes with an attached restroom." Tim had never been there, so his eyes roved around, following Gavin's introduction. Zachary, Oliver, Jasper, and Jesse had all been there once, but they were still exceedingly curious about the place and loved to look around. Even Orissa couldn't help scrutinizing the surrounding decor. The restaurant was quaint, seemingly transporting one back to ancient times. On top of that, all the servers wore gowns, making for a delightful sight. "Isn't it beautiful here, Tim?" Jasper inquired, poking his head out. Tim bobbed his head. "Yup, it's beautiful." At his affirmation, Jasper beamed from ear to ear. "The food here is also delicious. Have more later." Again, Tim nodded shyly. "Watch where you're going," Orissa cautioned the children smilingly. "Watch where you're going, Mommy," Jesse parroted. Orissa giggled. "Okay." Meanwhile, Benjamin's thin lips curved upward. Trailing behind them, Sean was tickled pink as well. They strolled over to the private room with the children. Kingsley was waiting at the door. If it weren't for his dashing posture as he leaned against the wall, one might mistake him for a server there. "You're finally here." Puffing out a cloud of smoke, he quickly snubbed out the unfinished cigarette. Benjamin glowered at him. "Didn't you know that Gavin and the others are joining us for dinner?" Thereafter, he turned and instructed the children, "Keep away from him." The corners of Kingsley's mouth twitched. He hurried over to the air conditioner to dissipate the stench of cigarettes on him. At his docility, all 6 children snickered. "Smoking is bad for your health, Mr. Watts," Jasper advised, his eyes shimmering in the light. Kingsley flashed him a sheepish smile before throwing a look at Benjamin. "Your daddy smokes, too." Tilting his head, Jasper studied Benjamin. "Does daddy smoke?" "I don't think I've ever seen him smoking." Benjamin rolled his eyes at him and stepped into the private room with the children after Orissa entered. Mirth filled Orissa. Sean likewise shot Kingsley a glare. "You knew Gavin and the others were coming over for dinner, yet you still smoked." "It's already merciful of Benjamin that he didn't throw you out. I was just bored while waiting for the lot of you. Unexpectedly, I had only taken a few puffs when you all arrived." Kingsley patted his clothes before sauntering in as well. Taking the menu, Benjamin slid it over to Orissa. "You order." Delight flooded Orissa. All 6 children crowded over, instantly jostling Benjamin out. They all started to place their orders. "These look yummy." Tim's eyes lit up as he stared at the pictures on the menu. Smiling, Orissa slid the menu closer to him. "Which one do you like, Tim? I'll order it for you." Chapter 862. While looking at the pictures on the menu, Tim shook his head. "I don't know which one is nice, so you go ahead and order, Miss York." Orissa stroked his head indulgently. He's the easiest to satisfy when it comes to eating, contented as long as there's food, and never once a picky eater. "Order this, Mommy," Zachary chimed in. "Sure," Orissa agreed. Oliver then interjected, "I'd like to eat this, Mommy." "Okay," Orissa concurred. Flipping through the menu, Jasper also ordered a dish. I want to eat this, Mommy. Order it, then, Orissa replied. Mommy, don't forget me. Jessie exclaimed. Orissa regarded her with a grin. What would you like to eat? This sausage. Jessie pointed at the picture. Kingsley burst into raucous laughter. What sausage? He wanted to lean over in curiosity, but Benjamin kicked at him with his long leg. Immediately dodging, Kingsley eyed him with a smirk. Let me have a look at it. Behave, Benjamin chided. Sticking his hands into his pockets, Kingsley regarded them all with a wide smile. Boss, shouldn't we be ordering first since it's your treat? You can order when they're done, Benjamin countered mildly. Orissa also ordered dishes favored by Jessie, Gavin, and Tim. Then, she handed the menu to the men. We're done. You guys go ahead and order. But you seemingly haven't ordered anything, Orissa. Kingsley stared at her. At that, Orissa chuckled. My tastes align with theirs quite closely. Hurry up and order. Do you still want to eat? Benjamin warned in a terse voice. Kingsley didn't dare speak further. With the menu in hand, he crossed his legs and ordered while sitting on the couch. I ordered a few dishes. Here, it's your turn, Sean. He tossed the menu over. Catching it, Sean ordered 2 dishes. When they had all finished placing their orders, Benjamin took the menu and ordered a few more dishes. Subsequently, he commanded Kingsley, go and tell the kitchen to hurry it up. Okay. Kingsley diligently stood up and summoned a server, handing the menu to her. Hurry up and prepare the dishes indicated. Also, bring the red wine we saved. Understood, Mr. Watts. I'll go and make the arrangements right away. The server hastily left to rush their order. When are Jonathan and the rest coming over? Benjamin asked Kingsley. In response, Kingsley arched a brow. He said he'll be a bit late. As for Aaron, he has already departed. Nodding, Benjamin instructed, give Ethan a call and ask whether he's coming over. I'll do it right this instant. Kingsley swiftly phoned Ethan. After the call had been answered, Kingsley merely put a question forth before hanging up the phone. Chortling, he announced, Ethan and Jack have arrived at the restaurant entrance. A smile bloomed on Orissa's face. Ah, they've both arrived as well. Mr. Frank and Uncle Jack are quite fast. Zachary quipped with a snigger, his eyes trained at the door. Benjamin leaned over and poured a few glasses of water for Orissa and the children. Have some water. Okay. Taking the glass with a smile, Orissa urged the children to drink some water. Sweethearts, visit the restroom and wash your hands after you've taken some water. Dinner will be served in a while. Okay. The 6 children bobbed their heads. Thank you for the water, Daddy, Mr. Graham. They didn't forget to also thank Benjamin. Hurry up and drink. Benjamin jerked his chin, motioning the children to drink the water without delay. Aren't you going to have some too? Orissa turned to the man. Benjamin's gaze alighted on her exquisite face. After you. Orissa merely took a few sips, for she wasn't thirsty. Only then did she put the glass down. Right away, the man snagged it and drank from it. For a moment, she was stunned. Benjamin swept his gaze over, his voice deep and his aura imposing. Why are you staring at me? The corners of her mouth twitching, Orissa reminded in a whisper, I drank from that glass. Can't I drink from the same glass? All domineering, Benjamin continued guzzling the water until there was none left. Orissa was promptly rendered speechless. Doesn't he have germophobia? Does he not mind drinking from my glass? Chapter 863. Both Sean and Kingsley cast their gazes over with teasing looks in their eyes. Boss, has your germophobia been cured by Orissa? Kingsley teased. Is there a problem? Benjamin snorted, imposing despite his nonchalance. Kingsley merely chuckled, lacking the guts to speak further. Sean, on the other hand, smiled without saying anything. Daddy, it's not hygienic to share the same glass. Gavin lectured Benjamin with a solemn expression on his face. Shooting him a sidelong glance, Benjamin retorted, then, why do you sometimes drink from your mommy's glass? Words eluded Gavin. He stuck his lower lip out, pouting. That's different. No, Daddy is an adult while I'm a kid. Kingsley and Sean doubled over in laughter. Kingsley started, Gavin, you're Daddy. Just then, Benjamin hurled a peanut at him. By a stroke of luck, it flew right into his mouth. Almost choking, Kingsley gazed at the man aggrievedly. Benjamin had a dangerous look in his eyes, tinged with a hint of warning that it definitely wouldn't be just a peanut Kingsley had to worry about if he dared to run his mouth. Sheepishly spitting out the peanut, Kingsley cracked it and popped it back into his mouth. "Thank you for the peanut, boss." Meanwhile, Sean was torn between amusement and exasperation. Some things aren't appropriate to be discussed in front of kids. You'd best watch yourself. The 6 children looked at each other. Jasper stared at Kingsley in sheer curiosity. "What were you going to say earlier, Mr. Watts?" "Don't ask, kiddo, otherwise, your daddy is going to beat me up." Kingsley gave a cough, not daring to tell him that his father didn't even mind his mother's saliva, let alone a glass she drank from. "You can tell me secretly," Jasper coaxed beamingly, trotting over to the man. Kingsley caressed his head, sensing Benjamin's death stare. He fibbed, "I was going to say that your daddy doesn't mind." Jasper eyed him suspiciously and muttered, "Don't tell me you were going to say that daddy and mommy have kissed." In a flash, Orissa's face flamed. "Jasper," Benjamin warned with a frown. Kingsley couldn't help laughing. "I didn't say that. Your son said that himself." Benjamin rolled his eyes at the man. Upon seeing that Ethan and Jack had entered the room, he said to Jack, "Throw him out, Jack." Jack instantly stepped forward. "Pardon me, Mr. Watts." Kingsley hurriedly hugged the back of the couch. "Your boss is just joking with me, Jack. Don't take it seriously." He was no match for the man's strength, so he quickly seized the opportunity to dodge. "Spare me this once, boss. I'll never run my mouth again," he hastily begged Benjamin. As Orissa watched, she was greatly amused. The 6 children likewise snickered at the sight of Kingsley's cowardice. Ethan, on the other hand, knew without a shadow of a doubt that Kingsley must have audaciously said something that provoked Benjamin. "The food is served. Let's eat." The moment Kingsley saw a server carrying a platter of appetizers in, he swiftly rushed over and took it from her, inviting everyone to dine together. "Have some appetizers, sweethearts. You first, Orissa." He held the platter out to Orissa ingratiatingly. Orissa giggled. "Thank you." She took for all the children before taking one for herself. "We haven't washed our hands yet, Mommy," Gavin reminded. To that, Orissa chuckled. "It's okay. Go and wash your hands after eating this." Gavin studied them all before he took a small bite of it. Contrarily, it didn't matter to Tim. He had eaten when his hands were far dirtier. When they worked at the coal mine, their hands were all black. There was no water to wash off the dirt and dust, so they often ate with dirty hands. Zachary, Oliver, Jasper, and Jesse didn't really mind it either. As long as their hands weren't awfully dirty, they could still accept it. A little dirt never killed anybody. Grinning from ear to ear, Jasper popped it into his mouth without hesitation. Kingsley chortled and took another piece for him. "Thank you, Mr. Watts," Jasper exclaimed exuberantly. Kingsley held the platter out to the others, and everyone started eating. "Do you want some, boss?" Chapter 864. "You guys go ahead." Benjamin swept a gaze over Kingsley before looking at the children. Glimpsing the longing on their faces, he had the server bring another platter of appetizers. "Go and wash your hands. Quick, go and wash your hands," Orissa echoed. She stood up and led the way to the restroom. All 6 children hastily trotted after her. After Orissa had washed their hands, she urged them all to go and relieve themselves. The children went into the cubicle, one after another. Orissa again helped them wash their hands and wiped them dry before allowing them to leave the restroom. She herself took a leak before leaving. By then, Jonathan had arrived. Surprise inundated Orissa, for she thought that he would arrive much later. "Were you lying to me? You said you had something to do, yet you arrived so quickly," Kingsley teased. The corners of Jonathan's mouth turned up. "Do I look as though I'd lie?" "Nope, but when you do so, you're far more convincing than others," Kingsley riposted with a snigger. At that, Jonathan chuckled. "That's only because you're dumb. Who's to be blamed? Look at this, everyone. This sanctimonious fellow is nothing more than a scammer." Livid to the point that he had steam coming out of his ears, Kingsley urged everyone to back him up. What scam did he pull on you? Love or money? Sean quipped, tickled pink. Damn it, you're both on the same side. The former, okay. Kingsley was downright indignant. Jonathan's lips inexorably twitched. Can you please mind your words, Kingsley? I've never done anything of that sort. I'm straight. Everyone burst into laughter. Benjamin got to his feet. When is Aaron arriving? I'll hurry him up. Sean gave Aaron a call. A while later, he said to Benjamin, he has only just departed, so he asked us to go ahead and not bother waiting for him. Nodding, Benjamin went to wash his hands. Damn it, Aaron told me he was on his way, yet he now told you he has just departed. Jonathan told me he was at the office, but he's now here. All of you are liars. I'm not going to organize a gathering anymore henceforth. You all can do it yourselves. Harumphing, Kingsley hurried away to wash his hands as well. Jonathan and Sean exchanged smiling glances before they followed Kingsley. Here, sweethearts. Orissa gathered the children to the side of the dining table and hoisted them onto their chairs. Ethan and Jack stepped forward to help. They settled the children in their seats before leaving to wash their hands. Subsequently, Orissa adjusted the distance between their chairs and the table. Having returned, Benjamin pulled out a chair. Sit down. Orissa looked at him for a moment. I'll sit over there. It'll be more convenient to take food for the kids. Just sit here. Let them eat by themselves. Benjamin was being assertive, adamant that she sit beside him. He yanked her over directly and pushed her down onto the chair. Orissa was promptly torn between amusement and exasperation. Okay, I'll sit here. Take it easy. My shoulders hurt from the force of his grip. Sweeping a gaze over her, Benjamin pulled a chair out and took his seat. Shortly after, Kingsley, Jonathan, Sean, Ethan, and Jack also took their places at the table. Kingsley ordered the server to serve the wine. The server had decanted the wine beforehand. Taking the wine glasses, she poured them all a serving. You've got to drink a few glasses with us tonight, boss. Kingsley clamored. Jonathan and the others seconded him. Benjamin eyed them before turning sideways and murmuring to Orissa, you don't need to drink. Just have some fruit juice later. Orissa nodded with a smile. Okay, how is it right that Orissa isn't drinking? The two of you registered your marriage today, so we've got to liven up the atmosphere a bit. Kingsley stared at them with wide eyes, unwilling to squander that golden opportunity. I came here way beforehand to set everything up. Don't you find it romantic, Orissa? Decorated with roses, the private room looked different from usual. There was also a hint of sweetness in the air. Orissa scanned her eyes over the dining table and the fresh flowers all around her. Smiling, she commented, if you hadn't said that, I would have thought that this is the original decor of the room. At once, words eluded Kingsley. Ha ha, you went to all the effort for naught, Kingsley. Orissa didn't even notice it. Sean and the others roared with laughter. Chapter 865. I now know. Orissa beamed widely. Are you happy with it, Orissa? Benjamin had me prepare it. Kingsley shot a glance at Benjamin, who hadn't said a single word. Hearing that, Orissa studied the man beside her. He had Kingsley prepare all this. For some reason, I don't quite believe it. Benjamin looked at her. How do you find it? Giggling, Orissa queried in a whisper, you really had Mr. Watts decorate the room. A flash of embarrassment flittered across Benjamin's face. He suggested it, so I told him to decorate the room a little. A sliver of sweetness slithered into Orissa. Why didn't you say so earlier? I'm not all that satisfied with it. Snorting softly, Benjamin glared at Kingsley. Kingsley fell silent. Orissa chortled. It's passable. Kingsley's eyes lit up, and he clapped his hands in delight. I'm glad it's to your liking, Orissa. It doesn't matter even if boss isn't satisfied with it. The 6 children darted their eyes around. Taking out their phones, they snapped a few photos. We've got to capture it for great-granddad to see. Here, let's drink to boss and Orissa's marriage. Kingsley raised his glass and stood up, hollering at them all. Following that, Jonathan, Sean, Ethan, and Jack got to their feet. All 6 children stood up as well. Picking up the glass of fruit juice in front of them, they raised their glasses at Benjamin and Orissa. Congratulations on your marriage, Daddy, Mr. Graham, Mommy, Miss York. Orissa rose to her feet with a smile. Thank you. Standing up, Benjamin exchanged her glass of wine for fruit juice. Hey, you're going overboard, boss. Kingsley teased. I'll drink her share as well. She can't drink. Benjamin shot the man a warning look. He poured the wine in Orissa's glass into his own glass before clinking it with everyone. Laughing, they all offered their felicitations in unison. Wishing you a blissful marriage, boss, Orissa. Thank you, thank you. Orissa clinked glasses with them happily. Benjamin followed suit. Thank you. Then, everyone started poking fun at Benjamin. Boss actually thanked us. How remarkable. Exactly. Orissa stole a glance at the man with merriment dancing in her eyes. Taking the lead, Benjamin lifted his glass and downed the wine. He appeared extraordinarily handsome as he tilted his head back and guzzled the wine. Every movement of his was gracious and seductive. His bobbing Adam's apple was so alluring that Orissa couldn't take her eyes off it. Orissa blushed, feeling intoxicated despite not having had a drop of alcohol. She hastily sipped at the fruit juice to conceal her loss of composure. The 6 children were likewise over the moon. They stared at their parents while beaming so widely that their eyes were mere slits. Daddy is having wine while Mommy is having fruit juice with us. Gavin was the happiest of them all. He was so striking when he smiled that he had all eyes riveted on him. You've got to drink with me when you've grown up, Gavin. Jonathan remarked dotingly. Okay, when I've grown up, I'll treat you all to a drink. Gavin nodded firmly. Everyone burst into laughter. Meanwhile, Sean flashed him a thumbs up. We'll be waiting. When we've grown up, we'll also do the same. Jasper promised with a grin. Okay, sure, we'll be waiting. Everyone seconded. They all regarded the children with great amusement. Let's sit down, Benjamin urged. He pulled out Orissa's chair for her. Subsequently, the dishes were served, one after another. Benjamin took some food for Orissa before doing the same for the 6 children. Rotate the turntable for the dish you'd like to eat and take it yourself, he instructed. Okay, the 6 children nodded obediently. Orissa also took some food for the children. Come on, let's drink. Again, boss. Kingsley filled his glass once more, wishing to drink with Benjamin. Sweeping his gaze over the man, Benjamin took the wine bottle and poured himself a measure of wine. Why don't you two eat and get something into your stomachs first before drinking? Orissa cautioned. It's downright detrimental to drink on an empty stomach. You're right, Orissa. We'll eat first after downing this glass. Kingsley replied with a sheepish smile. Benjamin glowered at him. So, are you drinking or what? Chapter 866. Of course, I'll drink. Kingsley replied before clinking glasses with Benjamin. With that, the latter placed his wine glass down and gestured for everyone to start tucking into their meal. Just as they were enjoying the food, Aaron finally turned up. Oh, everyone's here, he exclaimed, albeit rather sheepishly. I'm the latest, aren't I? Not at all. We've only just started. Come on in. Kingsley greeted warmly. Aaron promptly did as instructed, and only then did the group see who he had brought along. Hi, guys, Rosetta said cheerily. Needless to say, everyone was shocked, especially since they thought Aaron would show up with his wife. No one had expected to see Rosetta instead. Kingsley's smile quickly faded as he glared at Aaron. The latter, on the other hand, looked utterly helpless. While Sean and the rest nodded politely in response, Benjamin ignored the woman and turned his attention to Aaron. Take a seat, Aaron. We've only just begun. As a glint flashed across her eyes, Orissa hurriedly chimed in. Yes, please join us. We've only just started eating. Thank you, Orissa, Aaron replied smilingly before sitting with Sean and the others. Rosetta followed suit and was about to take the empty seat beside Benjamin when Ethan jumped up from his. Here, Miss Adams, you can have my seat. After giving up his seat so Rosetta could sit with Aaron, Ethan quickly plopped himself down next to Benjamin. The smile on Rosetta's face froze for a moment, but it wasn't long before she recomposed herself and nodded cheerfully. Sure. Alas, with her around, the atmosphere no longer felt as fun and relaxed as before. Everyone, I'd like to apologize for being late by giving a toast. Aaron exclaimed as he raised his glass and downed the wine. Straightforward as always, Kingsley shot him a look and blurted out, Aaron, why didn't you bring your wife along? You could have informed us earlier that your sister was coming instead. My wife couldn't join us because one of her friends was in an accident. I'll bring her along next time, Aaron murmured, his voice gradually becoming softer. Anyway, Rosetta insisted on tagging along when she found out I was coming here for dinner. I didn't have a choice. Meanwhile, Rosetta was quietly studying everyone at the table until the sight of the 6 children sitting beside Arissa took her aback. As it turned out, the little ones were also staring at her, except their eyes were full of hostility and contempt. Benjamin, who are those? However, before she could finish her question, Aaron hastily tugged at her hand to shut her up. Rosetta. Naturally, the 6 children became even more annoyed when they heard how intimately she had addressed their father. They turned to look at Arissa, only to find her seemingly unbothered and eating her food quietly. Nevertheless, they couldn't stop themselves from worrying. Benjamin's face, too, had turned incredibly solemn as he gave Rosetta a cold-eyed stare. Miss Adams, I've already reminded you yesterday not to call me with that tone lest people get the wrong idea. Try as she might, Rosetta couldn't hide her pained expression. Eat your food and stop talking. Aaron interrupted angrily. My goodness, can't Rosetta see that Benjamin has no romantic feelings for her? Why else would he be hosting this dinner tonight? The next second, Aaron turned to Benjamin with an apologetic look. I'm sorry, Benjamin, I didn't mean to ruin your mood. The latter shot him a sideways glance and replied, don't let it happen again. With that, Aaron finally heaved a sigh of relief and raised his glass to give a toast to the couple. Benjamin, Arissa, congratulations on your marriage. Who knew you guys would be so much more efficient than me? Thank you, Benjamin, answered before clinking glasses with Aaron. Arissa, too, chimed in, thank you. Rosetta, however, still had her doubts. I can't believe they've gotten their marriage certificate already. Those 6 kids are clearly Benjamin's, but are they also Arissa's? Have you guys really collected your marriage certificate? She asked. Despite feeling the weight of Rosetta's stare, Arissa merely smiled and placed more food on her children's plates. Eat up, sweethearts. Nodding in unison, the children broke into cherubic smiles. Thank you, Mommy. Rosetta frowned and clenched her fists. Mommy. Chapter 867. The more Aaron stared at the 6 adorable children, the more envious he felt. Hey, Benjamin, you've moved so fast that no one can catch up with you. I can't believe you've given us so many surprises in just one night. Congratulations. It's all thanks to my wife. Benjamin replied with a smile as he continued to pile food on Arissa's plate. The latter glanced at him and lightly chided, you have to eat more too. Don't just focus on drinking wine. The next second, she promptly scooped some food onto his plate. Benjamin continued chatting with Aaron and the rest as everyone began eating happily. Rosetta, on the other hand, stared at him in utter disbelief. Doesn't Benjamin hate it when people take food for him? Meanwhile, the 6 children puffed their cheeks out in anger when they saw Rosetta's eyes fixed on their father. Gosh, how much more shameless can this woman get? She obviously has ulterior motives for coming to the dinner. Upon meeting the kids' baleful glares, Rosetta quickly squeezed out a faint smile. Hello, kids. Alas, they ignored her and continued with their meals, which all but wiped the smile off her face. Aaron, however, couldn't stop gazing at the 6 angelic-looking kids with a touch of envy. Benjamin has such a blessed life, he commented. Upon hearing that, Sean chuckled. If you work harder and faster, you can be just as blessed as him. Ha, how can I ever catch up to him? Aaron replied. Not only does Benjamin have 6 kids, but they're all already this big. I'm so jealous. There, stop being envious of him. Let's drink up. Kingsley cheered as he raised his glass. Soon, everyone was taking turns drinking a toast to Benjamin and congratulating him while Arissa and the kids happily savored the food. Even as he entertained his friends, Benjamin never stopped getting food for his wife and children. It's your turn to drink with us, Arissa. Kingsley exclaimed before feeling Benjamin's death glare on him. You can have juice instead of wine. Orissa smiled in response. Sure, I'm fine with juice. With that, she stood up with her glass of juice and clinked glasses with everyone. Orissa, Benjamin has quite a foul temper, so please try to put up with him in the future. Kingsley teased. That's right. And if Benjamin ever pisses you off, you can come to us for help. Sean chimed in. Jonathan laughed. May you two live happily ever after. Mr. Graham, Mrs. Graham, here's wishing you a long and happy marriage. Ethan and Jack exclaimed. Orissa, Benjamin collected the marriage certificate with you because he has his heart set on you for life, Aaron quipped. No returns allowed. You have to spend a long, loving life with him. Thank you, everyone, Orissa said as she drank a few glasses of juice jovially. Just then, Rosetta stood up with her glass of wine. I'd like to propose a toast too. Everyone whipped around to stare at her, worried that she might say something to ruin the mood. To their surprise, Rosetta managed to keep herself in check. Miss York, Benjamin's a pretty good guy. I wish you two all the best, she said before downing her glass of wine. Whether Rosetta had meant her words or not, Orissa knew she had to be polite. Thank you, Miss Adams. Rosetta smiled faintly before turning to Benjamin, all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Here's a toast to you, too, Benjamin. Unfortunately, the latter narrowed his eyes and said nothing. As the atmosphere became increasingly awkward, Orissa secretly nudged her husband. When Benjamin saw the look in her eyes, he finally gave in and lifted his gaze to Rosetta. Appreciate it, he replied coldly, still refusing to raise his glass. Despite the awkwardness, Rosetta kept her smile on. You've already had a lot to drink tonight, so don't worry about it. Have more food. That's right. Let's tuck in, Kingsley added. Benjamin went on to enjoy his meal. When Orissa realized how he was blatantly ignoring Rosetta, she didn't bother with the latter either as she continued entertaining the others. Why should I care? I know how Rosetta feels about my husband, so there's no need for me to be nice to her. Stop talking to them and eat up, Benjamin said as he piled more food onto Orissa's plate. Chapter 868. How's the food? Good, Benjamin asked gently. Orissa smiled and nodded. Yes, it's delicious. You should eat more too. Just as she was about to send a spoonful of food into her mouth, Benjamin suddenly grabbed her hand and ate from her spoon instead. Going red in the face, Orissa glared at her husband. The latter, however, was unbothered and happily chewed away. Seeing how intimate they were, Rosetta was green with envy. It looks like you haven't changed at all, Benjamin. You still love eating steak, huh? Since my mother misses you too, you should visit her sometime. I'll tell her to make you your favorite dish. With Rosetta's words being so suggestive, it was easy for anyone who didn't know better to get the wrong idea. Orissa, however, merely put on a polite smile and stayed silent. Of course, I know what Rosetta's trying to play at, but I won't fall for it. Benjamin has already made things clear to her, yet she still said that on purpose, thinking I'd misunderstand the situation. Why should I walk into her trap? If Benjamin has ever had feelings for her, I might still feel a tinge of jealousy, but the truth is he doesn't like her at all. Besides, what's the big deal about him going to the Adams family for a meal? He's friends with Aaron, isn't he? By then, even Aaron had had enough of his sister and regretted bringing her along. She's a woman of privilege and status, for goodness sake. Why does she have to act so desperate? The only person she's embarrassing is herself. Rosetta, Aaron scolded before Benjamin could blow his top. Go home right now if you can't behave yourself. Aaron, seeing how her own brother had lashed out at her in public, Rosetta seethed with anger. She couldn't stand how lovey-dovey Benjamin and Orissa were, and even the slightest bit of it made her want to ruin everything. Get out if you can't shut up. Stop embarrassing yourself, Aaron bellowed. Miss Adams, we've tried your mother's steak before, and there's no doubt it's delicious. But if we had to compare, I must say Orissa's cooking is way better. Therefore, I don't see the need to disturb your mother when we can enjoy good food right here in Yaleview, Kingsley said smilingly before turning to Orissa. Isn't that right, Orissa? Orissa merely glanced at Kingsley and smiled. Oh, You can make his favorite dish too, Miss York. Rosetta said through gritted teeth. That's right. I have no problem making simple home-cooked dishes. In that case, I look forward to trying your cooking someday, Miss York. Rosetta answered. Orissa nodded, but this time, she said nothing more. As more dishes were served, Kingsley drummed up the enthusiasm once again. Come on, let's tuck in. Orissa, please help yourself. With that, Kingsley passed the dishes to Benjamin and Orissa so they could get first dibs. After scooping out some food for Orissa, Benjamin promptly handed the dishes back. Eat up. Thankfully, the rest of the dinner went on pretty smoothly. Even as Benjamin drank with his friends, he'd still get food for Orissa and the kids from time to time. The 6 children were understandably upset with Rosetta, but they behaved themselves and ate their food quietly. Orissa, too, no longer bothered Benjamin and let him catch up with his friends. Hey, Benjamin, when are you and Orissa holding the wedding? Have you fixed a date? Jonathan asked. Yes, it'll be on the 6th of next month. Remember to keep the date free. No problem, Kingsley and Sean replied while Aaron nodded enthusiastically. Rosetta stared at the happy couple, unable to banish the bitterness she felt. Damn it, they really are getting married. Benjamin, I'll be your best man. Kingsley suddenly shouted excitedly. Benjamin cast an impassive glance at him. You won't go. Wrong choosing me, Benjamin, Kingsley added. I'm sure there will be a lot of drinking, and you know how good of a drinker I am. We'll talk about it again, Benjamin said flatly. Benjamin, don't tell me you're picking Sean instead. Kingsley asked, his voice tinged with sadness. He won't be able to drink on your behalf. You know how weak his alcohol tolerance is. Upon hearing that, Sean glared at him. Jonathan couldn't help but burst into laughter. Oh, please, do you think you can hold your liquor well? Let's be honest, no one can beat Benjamin at drinking. Chapter 869. No matter how great he is, he can't handle toasts from so many people. Shouldn't I take care of it? I'm going to be boss's best man. Don't you guys dare steal it from me, Kingsley warned, patting his chest. Benjamin never said it was going to be you. Stop thinking so highly of yourself, Sean retorted. Kingsley shot him a glare. Boss never said it wasn't going to be me, either. All 6 children giggled. Zachary said, you'll definitely be the best man if you perform well, Mr. Watts. Delighted, Kingsley bent over and patted Zachary's head. Ah, you always know what to say. Mr. Watts, you might even get to be Mr. Bailey and Mr. Patterson's best man, too. Jasper blinked innocently. Upon hearing that, Kingsley twitched his lips. Hey, watch it. You make it sound like I'm going to be the last one who gets married. That's possible. Benjamin and I are already married. You guys are the only ones left now. You'd better hurry up if you don't want to be the last one, Aaron chimed in to tease Kingsley. Ah, you've only just gotten married. Why are you urging us to get married like the elders? Kingsley countered. Aaron grinned. To be honest with you, being married is great. Kingsley twitched his lips in annoyance. PFF'd. It's only been a few days. Isn't it too early to say that? Why would Benjamin marry Orissa so quickly if it's not a good thing? Aaron glanced at Benjamin. Kingsley sneaked a peek at Benjamin, who was eating calmly and ignoring their petty argument. Benjamin turned to Orissa and asked gently, is there anything else you'd like to have? Orissa glanced up at him. Let them order. I'm fine with anything. Raising his brow, Benjamin turned to Aaron and Jonathan, saying, Jonathan, Aaron, since you guys were the last to arrive, you shall be in charge of ordering us a few more dishes. It's boss's treat today. Don't hold back. Kingsley never stopped stuffing his mouth with food. He would even serve the children some whenever he tasted something delicious. The 6 children ate to their heart's delight. After informing a waiter to bring in a menu, Ethan handed it to Aaron and Jonathan. Seeing that, Kingsley leaned in, saying, pick the expensive ones. Aaron and Jonathan were rendered speechless. Tisk, all you know is to take advantage of Benjamin. The dishes have to be tasty too, you know. Jonathan shook his head with a smile. This place is famous for its dishes. How can there be one that tastes bad? Kingsley scoffed. Benjamin glanced at the children. After identifying the dish they liked, he ordered another serving of it. Noticing the children's greasy mouths, Orissa took some tissues and helped them clean up. The 6 children grinned at her. Tim prompted, "Eat up, Miss York." I'm just taking a break," Orissa replied. Aaron and Rosetta looked over when they heard the way Tim addressed Orissa. "Miss York, aren't you his mommy?" Rosetta asked. Orissa's face fell subtly. However, she forced a smile and answered, "Indeed I am." "What's wrong? Then, why is he addressing you as Miss York?" Rosetta asked curiously, occasionally glancing at Tim. "Tim likes addressing me that way. It's just a form of address. There are many people in this world who address their moms that way too," Orissa responded. "But the other children address you as mommy. He's the only one who doesn't. Anyway, I'm just asking out of curiosity. Please don't take it wrongly," Rosetta said apologetically. Biting his lip, Tim stole a glance at Rosetta. The moment he saw her fake smile, he yelled defiantly, "Miss York is my mommy. She gave birth to me." Orissa was beyond touched. She stroked his head, affirming, "Yes. You're my biological child. No one can change that fact." Tim nodded firmly. "Yep." Rosetta smiled, awkwardly. Meanwhile, Benjamin shot her a warning look that sent a chill down her spine when she met his icy glare. "Didn't I tell you to watch your words? Why do you have to talk so much?" Aaron reprimanded her. "Tisk. She ruined the great atmosphere again." "I'm sorry, Benjamin." "Orissa. I shouldn't have brought her along," Aaron apologized. Orissa smiled. "It's okay. Miss Adams was just being curious." Benjamin, however, did not bother being polite at all. Coldly, he snapped, "Miss Adams, is there anything else you're curious about?" Chapter 870. Rosetta was deeply saddened by Benjamin's attitude. "Does he really not like me anymore? Please think carefully before talking about some things, Miss Adams." Benjamin glared at her coldly. Suppressing her feelings of sorrow, Rosetta put on a polite smile. "That's all." The corners of Benjamin's lips lifted to form a smirk. "Then, eat your food quietly." Rosetta smiled stiffly in response. Noting Benjamin's displeasure, Aaron apologized again. "I'm terribly sorry, Benjamin. We've ruined everyone's mood. Let's eat," Benjamin prompted. "Come on, let's have a drink," Kingsley shouted in an attempt to lift the mood. Soon, the dishes were served. After having some more food, the adults continued drinking and chatting enthusiastically about everything under the sun. "Mommy, I want to pee." Jessie tugged at Orissa's shirt. Orissa quickly put down her fork and picked Jessie up in her arms, taking her to the restroom. "Mommy, I can go in on my own. Why don't you go back and carry on eating? I actually feel like taking a poo, too." Jessie giggled embarrassedly. Amused, Orissa gave Jess's cheeks a gentle pinch. "Go on, then. I'll be waiting for you here. The sink here is a little high up. Jessie won't be able to wash her hands once she's out of the cubicle." "Okay." Jessie nodded and ran off to use the restroom. While Orissa was waiting beside the sink, Rosetta entered the restroom. She nodded at the former and washed her hands. Orissa nodded in response as she continued waiting for Jessie. "Miss York, how did you get to know Benjamin?" "I work at Graham Group," Orissa replied politely. "Oh," Rosetta responded, nodding. She then smiled and inquired, "Then, how did you get pregnant with Gavin and the others?" Orissa glanced at Rosetta. "Let's not talk about such private matters." Rosetta's eyes glinted as she fixed them on Orissa, which made the latter rather uncomfortable. "Benjamin's an outstanding man. I know there are many women out there who want to hook up with him and will use some tricks to achieve their goals." "Are you not answering my question because you did the same?" Rosetta questioned. Orissa scoffed. "Since Rosetta is being so straightforward, then there's no need for me to hold back anymore." "Wow, Miss Adams. Anyone who didn't know would think you're Benjamin's wife," Orissa mocked. Rosetta's expression changed as her face contorted with rage. "I was originally Benjamin's fiancé." She insisted. Orissa scoffed gently. "That was all in your head. Did you two even get engaged?" Rosetta's face fell. "She's right. We didn't get engaged. I can see that Benjamin doesn't have any feelings for you, let alone want to be engaged to you." "So, who are you to warn me?" Miss Adams. If you're so capable, feel free to talk to Benjamin about it. I won't object as long as he likes you and wants to marry you. Orissa crossed her arms and stared coldly at Rosetta. Rosetta was livid. Not only did she fail to provoke Orissa, but the latter's words had even struck her sore spot. You, don't be too arrogant. I'm going to take Benjamin back one day. Orissa grinned. I'll be waiting for that day to come, Miss Adams. Suddenly, Benjamin appeared. What's taking you girls so long? He gazed at Orissa and frowned at the sight of Rosetta. Miss Adams says she's your fiancé and even wants to take you back. Orissa looked at him innocently. Benjamin scowled. Rosetta, on the other hand, never expected Orissa to tell Benjamin that on the spot. It made the former furious. How dare she? I never said that, Benjamin. Please don't listen to her. She was the one who talked about giving you to me. Orissa chuckled. You're quite skilled at twisting the truth, E.H. Benjamin's gaze darkened as he glared at Rosetta. Miss Adams, is there something I did that made you get the wrong idea? How dare you speak to my wife like that? Is this how the Adams family educates their daughter?